Hey guys, what's going on? So as most of you know, we went on the dyno last weekend and fried the clutch. So we pulled the gearbox out, sent the clutch away down south, and the manufacturer found a fault with these pads. They said 2 of the 4 were sitting higher than the other, which means it was limiting the clamping load. So they've happily replaced the buttons and these are the clutch disc, clutch pads. They've tested it and said that everything's working fine, except now I've got it back and you sit it on the flywheel, it doesn't sit flat. It rocks back and forwards one way, but not the other way. We called them back up again and they said there was nothing wrong with it. So I really can't be bothered with the dramas or arguing. So we're just going to send it back, and I found another clutch kit from Extreme Clutches, and it has a much higher clamping load, a much higher torque rating. So we're at 590 meters of torque, and it has over 125% clamping load from standard. So that should be really interesting. I've also ordered a shit ton of parts for the blue car, including a Ross Racing balancer. I had no idea you could even buy aftermarket balancers for these. I looked on ATI balancers a while ago and couldn't find anything, and now I've come across this. I found Arias forged pistons, so we've got those on the way. A Magnus clutch slipper. This has a 12-volt solenoid and an adjustable valve, so yeah, you can get those consistent launches. I've ordered EGT sensors and a handset. This way we can monitor what's going on with the temperatures coming out of the engine. I've also ordered some flares from Russia, so we can fit those big tyres under the guard, because I think if we do a big squat at the moment, that rear end's probably going to bottom out and cut my tyres. The next thing is an external oil pressure regulator for the engine. I mean, I've tried the internet fix of using extra washers in the relief to up the pressure, but I've still had problems in the past. So my plan is I want to block off the factory oil pressure relief and use this external regulator, which we can increase or decrease the oil pressure depending on the conditions. This item works much like a fuel pressure regulator. There's a nut and a stud on the top, and the relieved oil will then leave one of the ports and go through an oil cooler before returning to the engine sump. So to install this, I had to buy an oil filter relocator, which uses a pair of -10 AN fittings to work with the new regulator. So that's really cool. That'll be interesting to see how it goes. Another upcoming video we have is I'm going to put nitrous on my green Starlet. It's a factory 4EFE engine, factory injectors, factory everything. I've never played with nitrous before, but I think with a bit of Keelan's guidance we can definitely pull some horsepower out the front tyres. So the kit I've ordered is a wet system, so it has a dry shot of nitrous along with the fuel as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to hook that up on the standard engine just with a 35 shot and see how much power we can make with that. I reckon it's going to be a lot more than 35. And then we're going to up that from 35 to 50 and then to 75, and hopefully the rods stay inside the engine. I searched for ages and couldn't find any videos anywhere of nitrous going on a Starlet apart from Rick Bartley's from Victoria. Other than that, I think it's time that I put something on there and blow an engine to pieces. So my stash of junkyard parts in here, I've got old forged pistons, old forged rods. We have new sets of valve springs. We've got the ARP, the oversized stud kits. We've got old Cometic head gaskets, flywheels, clutches. We got everything. So what I'm going to do is, once we can nail the standard engine on the nitrous, we're going to put one of these old forged engines together and see if we can make over 300 horsepower just with a big shot of nitrous. And I want to put the ITB manifold off the GT on there too. I reckon that's going to sound absolutely insane, so that's going to be exciting. The GT was originally fitted with an old Microtech LT10, and I wanted to upgrade to the LT9, which has the CAN bus and extra functions there. Problem is, when I ordered it and plugged it in, we had no crank signal, so I've now had to pull out the entire loom and everything, both computers and the distributor in here, and we're going to send that away and get Microtech to figure out what's going on there. Hopefully that's a quick fix, but we can't do any tuning or anything until they've got that sorted. I've also purchased a GT45 for another upcoming project. This is going to be very interesting, but to buy a turbo off eBay for $250, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how long it lasts. So that's about it. So the clutch for the blue car is going to arrive this week. We're going to get that back in the car, and we're going over to Keelan's again this weekend, and hopefully engine stays together, clutch grips up good, boost goes in, and we make a lot of power. Stay tuned.